Хлопці, починаємо. Липня продовжую.
It's July 10. Ukraine Media Center continues its operation. My name is Svetlana Cheparenko, and let me remind you that now we work on the partnership with Suspilne in a new community space called Urban Space 500. And now we will be talking about Odesa International Film Festival, exclusive screenings, premieres, and the program of events. And our guest today is Anna Machukh, Managing Director at Odesa International Film Festival. So good afternoon. Good afternoon. So it will be 15th Film Festival. It will start this Friday on 12th of July, and it will last for a week until the 20th of July. It's going to happen in Kyiv. So can you please tell us why Kyiv? If it's due to security, we're seeing that Kyiv is not probably the safest place in Ukraine. However, comparing to Odessa, probably it is. Well, obviously, we would like to get back to Odessa. We would love to hold the events in our familiar, favorite spaces, favorite venues, but we understand that Odessa is not the most secure place in Ukraine. Well, the practice demonstrates that neither is Kyiv, but now in Ukraine, we cannot find a place that we can call the safest and the most secure one. Last year, we were holding a festival in Chernivtsi. Obviously, there are less incomings over there, but no place in Ukraine is the safest. However, Kyiv, from this perspective, is probably better secured than any other big city in Ukraine. So, yeah, one consideration was a security consideration, and another thing is logistics. I mean, we don't have any air connection for the last 2.5 years, but still we have to ensure that our guests come from abroad, watch Ukrainian movies, talk to Ukrainian cinematographers. It's a major fraction of cultural diplomacy. This is why Kyiv is the better place than many others. So what else will be different this year compared to other years? Well, basically every year it's different, and we continue this practice, we continue this tradition that was established in year 2021 when the national contest was the main, before that the international contest was the main contest. And this year the peculiarity is that we're becoming 15 years old. It's a small anniversary. And we've decided that this year we want to support Ukrainian cinema, support Ukrainian cinematographers, and to talk even more about Ukrainian movies. So our retrospectives program is quite extensive. We will be demonstrating the films that were already seen by the spectators, those which our spectators would like to watch once again. Some of the movies are 10 and more years old, and they're impossible to watch elsewhere. So let's get back to the program a little bit later, but now let me ask you, what is the key goal of this year's festival? Well, basically we continue with the same goal. to demonstrate to the Ukrainian spectator the art mainstream movies, the movie of high quality, not like those movies which are like real profound art house, but those who would be pleasant to watch for an average spectator. And obviously for the experts of cinema, we have a dedicated program of gala premieres, dedicated screenings, where we demonstrate those movies that were already presented in other art house platforms such as Rotterdam Film Festival. We will demonstrate this movie Listen, directed by Anna Rocha, who is a member of our jury, and other movies, well, that would fit the taste of other spectators. We were holding this festival back in the day abroad, and back then the main goal has become the development of Ukrainian cinema. I don't even remember. There were 20 countries represented in the festival, and we were demonstrating Ukrainian movies, and we were pitching Ukrainian movies and the opportunities for cooperation with Ukrainian directors, actors, producers, and so on. So this year, this goal is on par with the main one, basically demonstration of quality cinema, quality films, and the development of cinema industry. So we have the program Film Industry Office, 5 days of discussions and events. There is a pigeon of projects, work in progress, so to say, the movies that we all expect to see maybe in a year or two in big screens, and obviously in partnership with Ukrainian Cinema School, we hold the events of Summer Cinema School, where we teach our youth, whom we rely upon, whose movies we want to watch within the years to come. So can you please give us a little bit more color on the program? There will be a children's dedicated program, international program, Ukrainian films program. So what are the premieres that we should expect to see? Well, basically we have 92 or 93 films on agenda on the program. Those will be exclusive demonstrations. We understand that now the situation with the power supply is pretty difficult. This is why within those 9 days we'll try to demonstrate the maximum movies possible. There will be generators on. The people will be able to watch movies without interruptions, save for the cases of air raid alerts, where we will be forced to suspend our program and urge everybody to go down to the shelters. So 92 movies, 9 days in a number of programs, and the program where we expect to see the biggest number of spectators is the national movies, represented by 11 movies, which are basically the majority of which are the feature films, because recently there was a depressive thought that there will be no feature movies in Ukraine, but still Ukrainian cinematographers continue filming no matter any obstacles. And again, within the last 2 years, there was no government funded, but still the projects or the producers were able to finalize their projects. Those were the films that started back in 20 or year 21, and finally we are able to see them on the big screen in Ukraine. And those movies that were made even during the full-scale invasion, for example, The Grey Bees, I know that the last parts of that movie were shot during year 2022. Even regardless all of the obstacles, regarding all of the shellings, the team was able to finalize the film, plus the documentaries that were made lately. And obviously there will be a retrospective program that we've gathered from different programs, different areas. Basically, my favorite one is our DNA, because those are the movies or the films that demonstrate Ukraine as sovereign unitary Ukraine. Those are the films about Lviv, Chernihiv, Donbass, Crimea, Ivano-Frankivsk region. We were trying to demonstrate a diverse Ukraine. So 10 Years of Ukraine in Fire. Those are the movies about the war that were made within the last 10 years. Basically, there's a lot more movies dedicated to this topic than those represented in our program. It was very difficult to pick the best ones, but we want to demonstrate the best approaches, the best cases, and there are feature films such as Cyborgs that everybody loves. Really, I hope that the spectators will be able to see it once again in a big screen. And just like Our Kittens, a comedy. Well, it's a war drama, but it's a comedy, really. Then we will have a children's dedicated program, 3 feature films, one of them about Eric, the Heart of Stone. It's been a long time that we didn't show any movies for the kids. There's not so much of them made in Ukraine lately, but still some of them will be represented in Odesa Film Festival. International demonstrations, we're now back to gala premieres. Gala premiere is the program of those films that are the mostly awaited in our cinemas, but it's a pre-premiere demonstration specifically for the spectators of Odesa Film Festival. And I can see that the tickets are almost sold out. So it's the new film of Yorgos Lanthimos and the substance about, and then another movie, the Cannes branch, Golden Branch to the canine actor. And if everything goes well, we will be able to receive the director of this movie. Now it's only up to our transportation system and Ukrzaliznytsia. So there's a lot to pick from. The program is real diverse. We wanted to demonstrate how wonderful, how diverse the Ukrainian cinema is, because it was only started being noticed within the last couple of years. Because as you were talking previously to people who have no relation to Ukrainian movie industry, you were getting this question, is there any filming in Ukraine? And it turns out there is. And there's a lot of quality movies being made. Even before the COVID times, there was a lot of filming, and we would like to make sure that Ukrainian cinema is known abroad. Well, you've mentioned that there was already a case of holding a festival abroad, and the main goal was preservation of Ukrainian cinema. Now, in 2 years afterwards, did it really work? Did that message that you were sending abroad, has it worked? Do you really experience any reinforced support of our cinema? Well, basically, it's not only our message, it's the teamwork of all of the film industry, because everybody got involved, all of the festivals, plus Ukrainian agency on cinema, and we had a number of events held abroad to demonstrate that we continue working in Ukraine. We want to have films finalized, we want to continue filming, and we are ready to cooperate. And the fact that there are new films in the festivals, that our movies are demonstrated, are being premiered in other international festivals, the fact that they even come back with awards, it's a real good sign. It's an evidence of the fact that what we were doing in 22, in year 23, and many of us continue doing now, working on having Ukrainian cinema industry integrate into international cinema industry. And I can safely state that there is interest on the partners' part. There is their readiness to invest in Ukrainian cinema, and hopefully government would be able to allocate certain funds for our cinematographers, because it's important to maintain this balance between the state support and international donors and private investors. So it's the best opportunity to make real quality movie. Well, our everyday life is rotating around the war now. So what is the fraction of films dedicated to war during this festival? I think that it's more than a half. Our life is really turning around the war for the last 10 years, and the war movies started filming back from 2015. That was the time when the new war movies started coming. and specifically talking about documentaries, the new ones that are being made within the last couple of years, no movie may be filmed without being dedicated to war. Even the comedies, romantic comedies, they are somehow still related to the war topic because it's our everyday routine. And if before the full-scale invasion, that routine, well, let's be honest, it was for like certain part of our population. Many were even refusing to recognize the fact that there is a war being waged, but now that we're living through these tragic events on a daily basis, now our cinema is being built upon those topics. Well, every event that is being held comprises some charity effort. Is there anything like that planned within the framework of Odesa Film Festival? Well, since the moment of our establishment, we were cooperating with charity foundations, with a number of them, and this year we're working with a number of charity foundations too. This year we're in partnership with Children of Heroes Charity Foundation, a foundation that supports the children who were affected by war. As we see, this is happening on a daily basis. The most recent events convinced us once again, and I hope that the representatives of foreign elites or our foreign partners, they are now recognizing that the aggressor doesn't stop at anything, and hopefully not only that fraction that we will donate to the charity, but also hopefully there will be spectators joining us, and on top of buying tickets, the spectators are going to donate their money to charity. So getting back to the program, what stellar guests should we expect to see at the festival? Well, it's a matter of logistics. I wish everybody arrives on time, and previously there were different situations. Someone might have missed their planes, but now the story is even more complicated, but we got no refusals. The first guests are already getting on their planes, on their trains, setting off for Ukraine, and we expect to see them in the Kyiv Central Railway Station. We were announcing a lot of guests before, and even more of them we have not announced. They will be the special guests during the demonstrations, because this year the many people featured in those movies, they agreed, they consented to come and to talk to the spectators, because previously, even when we were holding the festival in Chernivtsi, we got many refusals due to security situation. This year no one has refused. Everybody is coming, and quite interesting is our national jury, the jury that will be evaluating Ukrainian movies, and among them are my good friend Mike Figgis, a director who was making a living in Las Vegas, but he made way more than that. He is a director, producer, screenwriter, Hollywood star, about whom many Ukrainians might have heard, an outstanding personality. And she really understands what's going on in Ukraine. Really, she was leaving the country in a war, and the presidential office was supporting that. And with the beginning of the full-scale invasion, when the war intensified, we got a lot of support from her. And finally, she's coming to Ukraine physically, like we will be able to see her live, we will be able to talk to her, and a lot of others. Hopefully it will be interesting for everybody to visit the demonstrations, because almost every movie will be presented by its creators. Thank you very much, Ms. Anna, for this interesting conversation. I wish you hold an interesting and safe festival. I hope you have the least air-raid alerts possible. And let me remind you, we were talking with Anna Machukh, the director of Odesa International Film Festival, and Ukraine Media Center will continue tomorrow. Stay tuned.